Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Big shouts to Sunra Fashions in Tamale for my outfit. 0246 590 That's the number to call. Now, this morning, I want to celebrate a great man of our country, a former member of parliament, the former minister of state, the former director of the GIJ, former editor of the People's Daily Graphic, Pan-Africanist, a mentor, a teacher, a father figure in society, and so many other things. Honorable Kojo Yankah, yesterday was his birthday, and we want to particularly celebrate him. Sir, we love you. We pray that you live long, for a long time, to share your nuggets of wisdom with us, as always. Happy birthday. And this one is belated, but happy birthday to you, the Honorable Kojo Yankah. And you should spend a few minutes with Honorable Kojo Yankah, and you will pick a lot of good nuggets to take away with you. So happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday, we love you, and may God continue to bless you abundantly. Happy birthday to you. Now, this morning, the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff will be meeting at Bema Camp. In fact, it's today and tomorrow. They'll be meeting at Bema Camp to make a determination on what has become the talking point in West Africa, Niger, as to whether to send troops in there. And the question has been as to whether Ghana should contribute troops at all, whether any other West African country should contribute troops at all. It's a talking point not just in Ghana. Many of the young people in West Africa are talking about it, and even in other parts beyond West Africa. They're asking the question, they're asking if their leaders really are committed. They are really committed to, fighting the economic or fixing the economic challenges that they find themselves in. And they're asking themselves whether or not our armies are equipped enough to even begin this quest. Whether or not our armies are equipped enough to begin this quest. They're asking that question. And so this morning and tomorrow, I hope that the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff will listen to the mood and sentiment of the people. We want to, as we were told yesterday by Kennedy Ejiofor, he said, we want to use Niger as an example. I don't know what kind of example we want to set, but I think that the best example that we could possibly set is by fixing the economic issues. By fixing the economic issues, you have a backlog of nurses who want to leave your country. A backlog of nurses who have sought permission to leave your country. Doctors are following. Lots and lots of young people, they're all going. So it's a big concern. And it's not just happening in Ghana. It's happening in many different parts of the continent. People want to flee. Question is, what can America, what can Canada, what can the United Kingdom, what can the Netherlands, what can Australia, and all the other countries where people want to run to, what are they doing for their people that our leaders cannot do for us? It's a question. What are their leaders doing for them, which our leaders are failing or perhaps refusing to do for their own people? It's a question that must be asked. And since we have started asking those questions, because every politician comes to talk about change. Every politician comes to talk about change. Every politician comes to talk about change. They keep coming back to talk about change. But do we ever see the change? Do we ever see the change? That's the question that's on the minds of many Ghanaians. Do we ever see the change? Because if you are being told that change will come, and the change is not changing, there's a problem. 10,209 nurses and midwives have sought clearance to travel abroad between January and July this year. 10,209, according to News Center, Evers Daku, and the Finder newspaper. 10,209. It's a dangerous situation. If in between a half year, 10,209 of your nurses have sought permission to leave the country. Doctors want to follow suit. You have a problem. So your people will have to be healthy in order to work, in order for them to be taxed. Your people will have to be healthy in order for them to work, for them to be taxed, for you to use those taxes to do developmental projects. Now, if the people are not well, because if your nurses leave and the people are not well, they will now have to depend on other sources of trying to get well. And we all know the challenges with it. It takes me now to the question of tax mobilization and tax utilization. The young people are asking the questions each time taxes come up, and in fact some older persons, because we were told, for example, that E-Levy will create 11 million jobs. Please pull out that screenshot for me. E-Levy will produce 11 million jobs.
Johnny's bite.
The question that I get asked every single day is, where are those 11 million jobs since we started paying the E-Levy? Where are those 11 million jobs? At least if we have not been able to do 11 million, let's show 1 million. Let's show 500,000 per E-Levy. Because the argument is that we have not been able to hit the target. That's fair enough. If you have not been able to hit the target, yet you have collected the monies. So where are the jobs? That's the question the people ask. Where are the jobs?
Johnny's bite.
As a result of the collection of the E-Levy. There's something also in this country called communication service tax. When you buy credit, you make phone calls, you buy data, all of those ones, you are charged those monies. Initially, it was pegged at 5 pesos or so. There was jumped to 9, brought back to 6. The government said we should clap for them. And that a component of that is supposed to provide jobs for us. Now, it says the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has said proceeds from the 1.75% E-Levy proposed in the 2022 budget would ensure that over 11 million people are employed. Mr. Ofori-Atta. This was even at the time when we had a certain threshold for mobile money transactions. Now we don't have a threshold anymore. Even if you send 10 pesos, you will be charged E-Levy. Now, where are the jobs from the E-Levy? Those who are protesting the 10% tax on betting and bet winnings, that's the question they're asking. That you have taken some monies already. What did you use those monies for? You charge us communication service tax. You increase the margins. Now, within that, you said you are going to use a portion of that to create jobs for the youth. But your unemployment rate has since gone up. So the young people are asking you, where are the jobs?
Johnny's bite.
Where are the jobs?
Johnny's bite.
And you see, Dr. Bamia said something back in the day about taxation. He spoke about a downward spiral. And when they say you are going on a downward spiral, it means that you are, how do I describe it? Like John Mahama said in his book, that you are on a steep hill, going down the hill on a bicycle without brakes. Oh yeah, yo. Free. He spoke about a downward spiral. And he says that if you tax the people, you tax them so much they cannot pay. You play the video. Let me not be Dr. Ba. Play the video for me.
They are hurting the economy. These taxes are hurting. And therefore, you are not going to get the growth. And when you don't get the growth, you will not get the revenue. And when you don't get the revenue, you go back to increasing taxes to get the revenue. And then you are in a cyclical downward spiral. And so they have it wrong. And we will change that particular policy. We will use the tax incentives to grow this economy.
So how did we do it? That's the question I ask. How did we do it? Did we actually do anything different? It's only questions. Did we do anything different? Did we do anything different at all? Did we do anything different? Show me Mr. Ampofo's screen. There's a gentleman who's a tax consultant, the chartered accountant. He said one of his clients went through hell because a representative or a relationship manager from the Ghana Revenue Authority had reached out to him that, oh, we have not seen you file returns for some time. What is happening? He says, my clients, they are folded up. They are going. Why are they going? Bribery and corruption. Please put it up for me. He says, yesterday, the Ghana Revenue Authority official relationship manager of my client called to check why my client has filed nil returns in the last few months. We explained that the client was winding up and has to lay off dozens of employees, and they paid very good salaries and therefore good taxes. My client, the subsidiary of a UK-based group, was winding up for one reason. They were unwilling to pay bribes to ministries officials, though it had the best products for what it does on the market. So there was no way it would be awarded a contract after exhausting all options. It had already been permitted to deploy the product at some private and public health facilities as a test at its cost, and all stakeholders were generally happy with the product. This product is already in operation in Nigeria and in Kenya's public health sector, and they didn't have to pay bribes. But on Ghana, you will pay. And it is something that I cannot personally do as the chair of the board of the company. I used the best of networks I had to convince officials to allow us advance with processes, but I could not save this company or prevent the layoff of many hardworking employees. It's been a painful experience for me. I've been in industry for years, but I was oblivious to this fact. I've always refused to accept it, but I experienced it firsthand. Of course, I've had pleasant experiences where people have done their work without making demands. Unfortunately, I have even had some foreigner friends advise me on who to see if I want a contract finalized. Unfortunately, I've even had some foreigner friends advise me on who to see if I want a contract finalized. I have always believed you can meet, reason with people, and always dialogue to achieve results, especially when it is in the interest of the country. A sad lesson I've learned over the years in Ghana: if you're willing to be corrupt, you will be very rich. Unfortunately, I can't bring myself to pay governments or public officials to do their work. So it is what it is. What is what it is? The company is folding up. People are going to lose their jobs. We will not get the taxes from them again. And we will keep going down in that spiral, downward spiral, cyclical thing that Dr. Baumia spoke about. Completely hopeless because of a few greedy people. And we pretend that we don't know these few greedy people. We know them. Choose a ministry, department, and agency. Choose. Choose a public institution. Choose it. And tell me if you're a contractor, you do not know that you have to go and see this person and pass a certain brown envelope, or see this person and give a certain 10% before your contract comes. In fact, sometimes even after you have executed the contract, you have to go and pay a certain 10%, or you'll be asked to discount it, whatever it is, before you get your money. He had the shock of his life. Then we will come and say that, oh, we know that the public sector cannot employ, so we are hoping that the private sector will get in and save the day for us. The private sector is getting in and we are pushing them out. Now this white man, when he goes out of the country and somebody tells him, well, I've seen Ghana, I want to go and investigate, I said, hey, my friend, don't go there, they will ban you. Don't go there, they will ban you. They will finish you. That is what we have become as a people. The pretense, and he says, if you are corrupt, you will be very rich. And those who are corrupt and are very rich, and yesterday Kennedy Japan said, he said, they are so rich, but they come out and pretend that they do not have anything at all. As I speak to you, there's a secondary school in OT. They are going to sit for their ICT exam, for their WASI, practicals. The assistant headmaster is begging the teachers to bring their laptops to come and support the school so that the students can write their WASI practicals. because we have not been responsible enough as a people, right from the very top. We have not been responsible enough as a people to provide basic computers for the children to go and sit and write their practical exam. We have not been responsible. And this businessman's issue is not just to him. It is happening to so many businesses. You meet business people these days, and they are complaining that their businesses are being crippled. They are happy to pay the taxes. They are happy to pay the utility bills. They are happy to pay whatever it is. But when they have satisfied all the statutory requirements, they now have to go and pay extra for what they don't know. Now it's not who you know, it's what you have. The money in your pocket. So I asked the president this morning, because the buck stops with him. Has he taken the pains to even engage this stakeholder who is checking out jobs to be lost and the livelihoods that will be lost? Has he even taken time to engage a whole business setup? Have they taken time to engage and find out and say, look, show us whoever it is, we'll deal with the person and bring you back? We won't. Because the money is not sweet then. We said we're going to use the ANAS principle. Where is the ANAS principle? I'll leave you with a throwback video. Dr. Papa Kwesi Idum of the Progressive People's Party, formerly of the CPP, then he formed the PPP, is a serial entrepreneur. His bank was collapsed in this country. If I'm not afraid to say, I can say that Dr. Papa Kwesi Idum had the widest coverage in terms of branches across the country, aside GCB and maybe ADB. You go into every single village, you will find Dr. Papa Kwesi Idum's GN Bank, right? The GN Bank. You go into every village, sometimes even a container, ally. His bank was collapsed in this country. What was the reason? Frivolous. Now, we are back at that private sector conversation. There was a seminar that happened at Unimark GIJ, my own school. My good friend Noel Nuchuga asked a question. That's the video I leave you with. Think about what Dr. Papa Kwesi Idum says. Good morning.